So Friday, today, and tomorrow, there are hearings in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case with Judge Aileen Cannon, and they are looking at whether or not Jack Smith was constitutionally appointed. Now, a lot of their arguments are just ridiculous, if you ask me. Now, I'm not an attorney, I'm not a judge, but if I were, I can only imagine I would laugh these out of court, and I wouldn't give them any more credence than they deserve, and I definitely wouldn't need to have 3 days of hearings on this because it's ridiculous. Here's some of their arguments. They are arguing at the same time that Merrick Garland directly oversees Jack Smith, and he's giving him guidance, creating some kind of a shadow government, and Jack Smith is operating in his direction and Merrick Garland's pulling the strings. At the same time, also arguing that Merrick Garland is not checking off on a lot of what Jack Smith is doing, and Jack Smith is operating too independently of the Justice Department. Make it make sense. They are arguing both things at the same time in the same hearing. There's also some argument about a financial disclosure that apparently is overdue as to how much is being spent on this case. And that has nothing to do in relevance to how Jack Smith is doing his job. If this disclosure is overdue, it's overdue. That doesn't change any of the facts of this case. It's reminiscent of what they tried in Georgia with Fani Willis, where they pointed to a relationship she had with one of her attorneys, and as if that was some kind of a gotcha to prove that, the case never should have been brought. It doesn't argue or change any of the facts of what's going on in this case. It's just a distraction tactic. And then lastly, they're arguing that Congress should be involved with some kind of oversight of the special counsel. Well, that's never happened. The special counsel's always been separate from the DOJ. They've worked independently, but they don't report to Congress. That is not how the checks and the balances work. Congress should not have a direct line to oversee any sort of a criminal investigation. Criminal investigations are part of the DOJ, which is part of the executive branch. That is not how checks and balances work. This is just ridiculous. They're just trying to find a way to give the Republicans in the House a way of overseeing this so they can get their hands on the evidence ahead of time, or getting some of it out in the narrative into the media so they can discredit Jack Smith and this thing and try to make an inroad with some voters. It's not going to work. It's completely ridiculous. And if it was any other judge, not only would this have been dismissed already, this claim of Jack Smith not being constitutionally appointed, but Donald Trump's attorneys would have been rebuked and or possibly referred to the bar for such a ridiculous argument.